Hi. Should we do another get to know Dave a little bit segment? Okay, let's see. I don't remember what I've said or where, so if it repeats, it repeats. If I skip things, oh well. I'm not doing this based off of actual questions that have been asked me. This is just stuff that I would maybe be interested in knowing about somebody else, and so I will try to provide that to you if you care. Anyway, so hi. I am on a road trip right now to California. I live in Utah, and I am going to pick up a roommate. I am so excited. I actually have somebody with high enough vibrational frequency who can maybe live with me. I guess we'll find out. I had a roommate for like 5 nights a few weeks ago, and then he took off, which was fine. I mean, there's never any obligation to hang around with me if you don't want to. That doesn't matter if we're married or not, or my kids or anything. Like, there's no obligation to do anything in my opinion. And that's how I see life, is that each individual entity, and I use the word very specifically for a reason, but every individual entity is sovereign unto themselves. I would say it's my opinion, but it's more than opinion for me. It's a fact. And so whether you agree with it or not doesn't actually matter because my reality is my conscious creation, and it is what it is. And so every single entity, everywhere, anywhere, is sovereign and conscious. And so why would I try to force... I used to in the past. But why would I try... But that was programming and other things. Why would I try to force a sovereign being who doesn't want to be around me or be with me or whatever to then be with me? Like, that's slavery. Just saying what it is, right? Like, if somebody or something doesn't want to be with me and I say you must, is that not enslavement? If I then enforce that with force, what is that, right? Even if it's with terms like I love you or this is my pet, and the pet keeps taking off to try to get away from me, right? Like, and then I keep locking it in the house, or like locking it in the cage, like I can't allow this. Like, to me, that's just enslavement. So anyway, we don't need to keep harping on that for a minute, but it is something to think about. Yeah, anyway, so on my way to California, let's see, had a great night last night, went to Latin club scene in Provo, Utah. That was fun. Be nice if there were some more people there, so anybody wants to come to Provo on Saturday nights, starting at, 9:30, 10 p.m. maybe? Sorry guys, I don't know what time it was. They do a band, they do some music, live music apparently, and then they change over to a party, like just a DJ and some Latin music and dancing and stuff, and then they do different themes. So anyway, went my first time last night, and that was a lot of fun. So I might be there sometimes on Saturday nights if anybody wants to meet me. Like, there's an option. I don't remember the name of the club. Let's see. These guys. The Rise Venue. The Rise, R-I-S-E. The Rise Venue in Provo, Utah. Saturday nights. Anyway, that's probably a good length for this video. So you know a little bit more about me now. I like to dance. I like to sing. I like music. I love music. Music is really, really important to me. I think it's important to everybody and everything because of the frequency, because of the way it affects our moods and stuff, but good and bad, right? Anyway, music is really important because everything vibrates, everything's frequency. And so then when you specifically, especially with intent, or you let the universe or the algorithms run things and see what happens, see what messages come across to you. That is so cool. Like, that happens to me all the time, like every day. Like, I'm like, oh, interesting choice. Oh, interesting song. Interesting message I just got. So, but, and when I get bored of something, I do. I change around, but I also like to replay the same stuff. Oh, there I go, just expanding. I was gonna stop this. This video will not be a very lengthy one. Anyway, music is awesome. I highly recommend listening to good music, to fun music, to music that makes you feel good. Yeah, music that makes you cry, music that makes you feel things and work through healing and trauma, music that triggers you. Like, what is a trigger? Trigger just says you need to heal. I need to heal, right? I just got triggered means I have trauma from the past that I need to heal from. That's what a trigger is. And I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist. Talk to your doctor or don't. Honestly, I don't trust them the same way as I used to. They want to medicate everybody, and I don't agree with that. I'm off every medication. Damn it, I'm talking again. I'm off every medication, every one of them, except the sacred medicines that I take, which are sacred plant medicines for sacramental purposes when I am able to and not being religiously persecuted, which I am right now. I have pending charges in Utah and Idaho around magic mushrooms and around cannabis. Idaho. Oh my God, you guys. The cop, the police officer, she was so cool, really good looking. She was very professional. But she goes, we're so backwards here. Like, we're the slowest state when it comes to cannabis, and I'm like, and yet you're still charging me with well, I have to, you know. So I'm like, okay. And I have, the cannabis is not only sacred medicine and communication with God and highest source for me, as are the magic mushrooms, but it's also prescribed medicine in the state of Utah. And Idaho says, we don't care that you have a prescription for your medicine. You don't. So not only are they persecuting me, like, First Amendment, like, religious freedom wise, they're persecuting me for just, like, having normal medicine. I know it's not normal because it's still cannabis, but it's just blows my mind. Anyway, so yeah, pending charges in Utah and in Idaho because of my religious beliefs. And I love when people are like, that's not a religious belief, you just want to get high. And I'm like, you know me so well? Seriously? Even my, anyway, that's a different story. But look, I was a Mormon for most of my life, a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They have what they call the Articles of Faith. It's kind of their creed. The 11th one, if you look it up, LDS 11th Article of Faith. It's the same thing as the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. It's the same thing in the Utah Constitution. I'm sure Idaho's Constitution has the same thing. If not most, if not all of the states in the United States have a religious a part of their Constitution that very specifically says nobody gets to tell somebody else what they believe, how they believe, what they worship, how they worship. Period. And there's so much case law. Oh my God, there's so much case law everywhere, all over the world now. But like, there's all kinds of sacred ceremonies around mushrooms and ayahuasca and peyote and tobacco and alcohol even, yes. Because even those are sacred medicines when not abused. But I mean, you can abuse whatever the fuck you want. But everything that's plant and grown and like, it's all sacred medicine, right? Like cacao from the cocoa, like all kinds of coffee, tea. Oh my gosh, there's so many things that when taken as a sacrament or with the right intent, and it doesn't have to even be ceremony necessarily. I mean, it does if you think it does, or if your God tells you it does or whatever, but for me, it's just a gratitude of, hey, thank you for this, and then I get to communicate with my higher self, my source self, my God, my Father, whatever you want to call it, but that's what I call him. I'll call him my Father, and I have actual direct communication with my Father. I don't think he lives. I don't think he exists. I know it. Well, how do you know? How can you be so sure, David Belcher? I'm telling you. whatever works for you spiritually. Prayer, scriptures, going to church, being told what to do. I don't recommend that. But if you want somebody to tell you what to do, there's lots of people tell you what to do. Lots of prophets, lots of priests, lots of kings, lots of whatever, right? Presidents, governments, and organizations, and companies. They'll all tell you what to do if you let them. Or you can communicate directly with your higher power or your God or your source, which, I mean, we're all connected, so it's us. Hi. It's us. Surprise, surprise. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And there I went. Holy crap, another 10 minutes. All right, so I guess my point is that I don't have a point. I am happier than I should be, except that I trust in my Father, my source, my God. And he told me to trust him, and I do. He said he loves my children more than I love my children, like my physical children here on earth. And so I trust him, even when I'm not gonna talk poorly about people or anyway, other things. Even when other things are happening in my life related to that. He said he loves me more than I love myself. He's a better father than I am. And he told me these things, and I believe him. Because he has a different view than I do. He's up a few levels, or a million levels, who knows. But he's up there seeing things differently than what I see from here on earth. And so he's like, look, trust me. And then he said, surrender. And I was like, surrender. Jesus, take the wheel. Let go. Ouch. He said, go with the flow. Get in the raft. You don't have an oar. Let the people with oars and the guide and those people do their thing. And you just sit back and crack open a drink and relax, dude. Put on your sunglasses and enjoy the music and the river and the talking and the people or not. Like, that's it. Go with the flow. That is what I was told to do. And then I was told that I am here on Earth right now. Part of my mission right now, this moment in time, 2025, is, at the end of 2025, is to show and tell others how to do what I've done. So you say, no, don't go do drugs. I mean, if you do it safe, be safe, okay? Like, I highly recommend having somebody super trustworthy with you, and maybe even a couple somebodies, and maybe somebody who's sober, and maybe, like, don't get in a car. Like, that's up to you, right? It's your choice what you do, but I'm not saying go out and just run amok. And I did some of the running amok. I did, and I wish I hadn't, but I did what I did. And I learned my lessons, and I am where I am, and that's why I'm being persecuted. I literally asked for help. I called 911 on myself saying I need help. I was freaking out. I was trying to figure out how to get out of the Matrix because that's pretty typical. And I've been taught and told that there's no getting out of the Matrix. That just create the reality I want here. And so that's what I'm doing now. But I was still freaking out, and so I called 911 on myself. Had the response from the police and fire department in Utah, Harriman, Utah, I think was the one I said it. Anyway, and then a few hours later, I got raided by another police department and got arrested and put in jail in Utah. Anyway, and then had another incident up in Idaho a few weeks later, which was actually really interesting. Again, another 911 call, and not me on myself. I was on the floor, unresponsive. I was awake. I could hear everything. I guess it was basically a seizure of some sort. But regardless, it doesn't matter. I know what happened. It was an energetic attack. Not on purpose, I don't think. But I got energetically knocked down and knocked out, essentially. But there was a 911 call, and police and ambulance show up, and police file charges. Again. So here we are with more charges than a court date. Gotta love it. So, if anybody knows any good lawyers, ACLU, criminal, Utah, Idaho, Anybody wants to have some fun, there's a lot of fun cases and fun things tied to my life, like all kinds of fun things. We've got wrongful termination potentially. We've got religious persecution with these charges and losing my job and all kinds of other things going on related to a lot of this. Got kicked out of my place in South Jordan, Utah for it because I don't want anything to happen to my landlady. She's awesome, but my former landlady. But the point is that I lost my job, I lost my house, I lost my access to my children, I've lost everything essentially because of my beliefs. And I'm no better than my ancestors. I've said this before in other videos if you've seen them, but my ancestors, especially the Mormon ones, like, I mean, a lot of our ancestors have gone through a lot of stuff, right? But I have had ancestors go to prison because of their beliefs. I've had ancestors get killed because of their beliefs. I've had ancestors, and so am I any better than them? No. Am I different than them? Well, I was when I wasn't being true to myself, when I wasn't being true to my beliefs. I don't think I was honoring them then. I'm definitely honoring them now. They were cool. My ancestors are cool. My family, because they're family. That's what ancestors are, right? Family. My family's awesome. They are so fucking cool. And now that I've forgiven them and they've forgiven me and whatever's gone on there, like, we're having a great time. Like, they are so powerful and hanging out with me all the time now. It is so cool. So anyway, you ever want to have some fun, start forgiving yourself and your ancestors and see what happens. But anyway, all right, now we went 16 minutes and I am done. Let's see if this will actually upload to Instagram or wherever. Might have to go on YouTube. I don't know.